Well, good morning, everyone. Back at a bee yard today, and just trying to show a little bit of where we are in spring. It's been slow. So we are at this yard today. You'll see that everything is reversed here. Not a whole lot of activity going on in this yard yet today. Kind of a gray day. Forecast for some showers through the day and tonight, and then really just some cool weather and showers for the next 4 to 5 days. So before we get started, just kind of want to recap where we're at, what the plan is, and what we need to do moving forward. So since probably mid-March, end of March, we've been supplementally feeding our hives. We've been feeding syrup as they needed to, protein patties. We also use our sugar patties, or we call them our grease patties, that have a terramycin in them to control foul brood. And then we've had multiple trips to the yards, primarily to supplementally feed and stimulate. The whole goal with that is we want to stimulate these hives. We want to stimulate that queen to lay eggs, so that come this time of year, we can start planning to make splits, pull brood frames, equalize hives, and get things ready for June honey flow. So that's basically been the routine through the springtime. At this point, I'm very pleased with how things look and how progress has been. We certainly have been in quite a bit of a cool weather pattern lately, and so hives just are not where maybe we would like them for the end of April. But that's okay too. That's somewhat a little blessing. It makes it a little easier that we're not dealing with major swarm issues yet. In our part of Michigan here, central Michigan, the dandelions are just starting to pop, but that should be a lot better in the next couple weeks, especially as we get some sun and heat. So again, just we're here today. Really not a lot to do. I don't really even plan on digging through hives too much. And then we're gonna just give some sugar syrup, some liquid syrup, just to help them through this next week. Stimulate them a bit going into the next 2 weeks. I anticipate our queen orders in the next week, and then we'll really start equalizing hives and making splits and making nukes and those kind of things, preparing for May and into June. So stick along with us here, and we'll try and show you some good content here today. Okay, so again, kind of a dark gray day, and this is kind of the days you get to work with when you work full time. So obviously Thursday and Friday were beautiful days, and today is not, but today is the day I have. So got through half of this yard, and things look good. They look good. But they also look like the weather's been cold. Big hives are continuing to progress forward, and that's because they generate heat, and they can continue to expand their brood chambers. Small hives are I don't want to say struggling, but they're not expanding. They're not growing. And that's just because they're not generating enough temperature to expand that brood chamber and lay more eggs and develop more brood. And that's pretty normal. And we will, again, we'll equalize all that out here in the next couple weeks. And just looking for some heat. And that'll really help these hives jump a little bit. As far as resources and food, they are all empty on their syrup that we gave them 2 weeks ago. So we're going to go through this hive here. It looks to be a good one here. So again, just explaining things here. 2 weeks ago we reversed this hive. So this hive body here did not have a lot of activity at all. And so I want to open this up and see what kind of activity we have going in that. So just from kind of an initial look here, things look good. This is going to be really difficult to see on camera. I'm hoping I'm getting some of this here. So again, this has been the reversed hive body. We've already got some capped brood. I see a lot of larvae and eggs around here. You can see some pollen sources on the sides. So again, for reversing and only being 2 weeks, this is an excellent looking brood frame. The queen definitely moved up right up into it and got to work on it. Again, just a awesome looking capped brood frame here. That just looks fantastic. Again, just another, boy, all capped brood. Man, that queen must have just really went up into this frame days after we reversed it. Just a really good looking frame there. Bees all over it. You know, that's capped brood from top to bottom, right to left. So again, good looking frame here. We have some late stage larvae through this area. And again, I know the camera probably doesn't pick that up, but pretty big white grubs in there. And I'm sure those will be capped certainly in the next little bit. Okay, we can go ahead and put this back together. Just a wonderful looking setup. I guess, in my opinion, that'd be about as textbook as I can make them. Okay, let's talk about that hive for a quick second as I grab a few things. So again, I mean, I'd love it if every single one of my hives looked just like that. And that one looks, in my opinion, about as good as it can look for this time of year, and with our weather that we've had. So, very happy with that. Again, if I kind of show it again, you know, just a really good looking amount of bees. And that's in 2 hive bodies there. So this is a hive that gives us potential, that gives us opportunity. And what I mean by that is this is a hive that we are going to be able to take brood from, shake bees out of. It is going to be an absolute must that we do so. Under the right circumstances, in good weather conditions, this would be a hive that absolutely will be showing potentials for swarming behavior soon. And so this is definitely going to be a hive that we keep an eye on, and that we manage properly. And we will absolutely have to take brood frames from it, shake bees out of it. We will have to reduce this hive significantly, which again in the long run will be excellent. It'll give us some bonus bee numbers and brood frames and potentials for nukes, and then that hive will also grow and have great strength come the honey flow season as well. So this is a great looking hive, and this is how you kind of hope they all turn out to look. However, it does also create the potential swarming issues, and it'll need some strict management in the next couple weeks. If the weather was going to be 70 and sunny for the next 10 days, this hive would make me really nervous. But it's not supposed to be like that, and so I think we can get away with this hive for another 2 weeks. In my opinion, I like to reduce the swarming behavior before it even starts, and that just makes those hives more manageable. So, good looking hive. Feel free to ask questions on that if you have any. And unfortunately, I wish every single one of them looked just like that. All right, everyone, we are. I'm just finishing up this yard, and once you know it, the last hive of the yard throws me a curveball. So I think it's a really good point of interest and something to show and teach about. And you got to show the bad with the good, right? So open this hive, and at first I was just going to that it was just not as strong of a hive as the last one that I showed. So Looks good, sounds good. It's just not of the same size. And so the very first frame I pulled, there was a queen cell on it. Now, I do not think it is a swarm cell whatsoever. I think this hive is going through a requeening process. I don't think it's a swarm cell for several reasons. Number one, again, I just don't think it's the time of year. There's just not enough nectar stimulants out available. I am not seeing a whole lot of drone comb production in this hive whatsoever. And usually you will see a lot of drone comb production on the top bars and bottom bars when hives are preparing to swarm. So when I looked through this hive, I cannot find any eggs whatsoever. There is multiple frames of capped brood. So that's a good looking frame of capped brood right there. Okay. And that could be up to, 20 days old. I cannot find a single egg whatsoever in any open cell. All right, I'm not going to take the time to go through and look for the queen. Obviously, if there's no eggs, there's either, the queen is absent or has died, and they're going through the requeening process. So, wanted to show some of this. Let me get this set up. Okay, so I'm going to try and do this here with my camera. So again, if you look right at the bottom center of that frame, there's two cells right there. There'd be another large cell right there, and they're all capped. There's another large cell right there. And I'm going to go ahead and just leave those, and we're going to see what this hive ends up doing. In all of the open cells, I cannot see any eggs whatsoever. So I know this hive does not have a producing queen. The hive has a good sound to it. It doesn't have that nervous queenless sound. And again, it's my thought that they're just going through a requeening process. I don't like it, but it happens. A lot of times I think it happens without us even knowing it. So I'm going to show this. So again, there's a nice big queen cell right there in the middle. Right there, obviously. So, and again, to me, that's an emergency queen cell and not a swarm cell that we typically find on the bottom boards or, on the bottom bars or at the bottom of frames. And again, I have not seen any swarming behavior from any hives in any other yards. Okay, so So we're gonna close that one up, and we're gonna just monitor it and see what goes on. I'd like to come back in 2 to 3 weeks and find that there's eggs in that hive and that they skipped a little beat. And again, we'll be able to help that out with some of the other hives in the yard. So this will be an interesting one to monitor.